What's good, y'all? So I'm on my MacBook today because I left my iPad in the room. But I'm reading this book, right? It's about Thomas Hobbes and his anarchist theory, Leviathan, and all of that. So I'm reading this, and what it's really just opening my mind to is like the concept of good, evil, and control, right? Um, and how good and evil is perceived in our society and how it is used to control us. And not even just like good and evil, but also it was something specific. Wait, let me find it. Yeah, basically that it's like it's not pleasure, it's something else basically. But that he was talking about, I'm gonna find it. But it really just made me think about how the world, that we exist in as of right now is just something to control us, right? And people, you can call it the matrix and all this other stuff, the dream, whatever, whatever, right? But put simply, fucking fly. I keep seeing that fucking fly. Let's get on my nerves so bad. But put simply, to me, the matrix is just whatever structure that has been created. Yeah, the structure that we currently live in. So right now, the structure that we are currently living in, we're living under, of course, capitalism. But this book specifically, I feel like the structure is society. The structure is, um, yeah, society and law. Laws are meant to keep you bound. Laws are meant to keep you misunderstood. You know what I'm saying? Laws are meant to help you not attain free will. And the problem with, I think, a lot of people is that they are okay with that. Because, yes, this is where it is fear, right? Because people, he said, people have two desires. All desires we can, two things every human agrees on. And that is going to be the desire for your life and fear of death. So now, death to humans is so different now. It's not just like, oh, I'm afraid of dying literally, but I'm afraid of punishment, right? And that fear of, punishment or something being seemingly taken away, it is what allows us as people to be manipulated by forces such as the government, presidents, etc., etc. So let's talk about, anarchy, fear, and type shit, right? So when it comes to society and community, I feel like it is something that we should all value, but a lot of people don't actually value community because people are too worried about themselves. And this book actually tells you, like, okay, people do things of their own volition, of their own passion, because we as humans are naturally selfish. But we all can agree on two things. But now those two things have changed because we are not living in a natural state anymore. We're not living outside. You know what I'm saying? We're not living um, just as we are supposed to live, one with nature. So we're disconnected. So all of our fears and desires no longer stem from the basic principle of, hey, I want to live, and hey, I don't want to die. So I'm going to help you know it's more complex than that. So now it's like I don't want to. If it's like I don't fear death because I fear dying. I fear death because I fear hell. You know what I'm saying? I don't fear death because I fear dying. I fear death because I fear punishment, right? And people carry that fear with them their entire lives, never really changing anything and never really shifting anything with or within or without themselves because people don't feel like, people are used to living in so much fear. People are so used to living in fear. People are constantly afraid of making the wrong choice, or making even the right choice. Just making choices that come with consequences, and people are afraid of that because everybody is afraid of consequence, right? But then it also talks about good and evil, and First of all, I always tell everybody bad and good, good and evil is completely subjective and it is all made up. And Thomas Hobbes touches on this as well. And that it's all perception. It's all what you perceive to be good and what you perceive to be bad based off of your lived experiences and based off of your perception, right? And that is why humans are naturally selfish, is because we each that is why humans are naturally selfish, because we all see things in different ways. That is why one person could say something is good and another person can say the exact same thing is bad. But there is no such thing as good and evil. There is no such thing as what good and bad, period. Okay? Yeah, there's things that are harmful, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that harm is inherently evil or inherently good. There is no inherent good or evil, no inherent right or wrong. There's no inherent anything, because everything is again subjective to how you see it in your reality. So if everything is subjective and nothing is really real, right, it makes you question then, why am I here? Okay? That's the question that it makes me ask. If everything is subjective and laws are subjective to the creators of the law. Just like history is subjective to the people who win the battle, or the people, the creators of history, that story, the person who created that story, it's all subjective and comes down really to just perspective and perception. So the people who are making our laws are not necessarily making our laws so that we can be, so that it can be good and evil, whatever. No, and it's not all, it's everything is control. Every time someone puts a law on you, gives you a rule, they're giving you that rule and that law in order to control you. So if someone is trying to control you, right, and they're doing this just through laws, right, it's like not only are they controlling what you're doing, what you can do, but they're also controlling the parameters of your brain. Because the laws that we currently have, right, they can limit you from doing anything. And if you are, you will never understand the extreme, we will never understand how extreme our society is, and how extreme like our law system is actually, because we've never existed in a time like this before, which is pre-civilization. And when we come to pre-civilization, a lot of people, what they want is perfection. They want perfection. They also touch on this also. People want People are always like, we need government in order to get control, or in order to have control, in order to have peace. We don't have peace today though. So that's a contradiction right there. But also, we don't need government, we don't need laws, we don't need a governing power to establish peace within ourselves. In the society that we live in today, laws, rules control you and keep you in a box. When you try to step outside of that box, then you're outside the box. You're an outsider, you're a criminal, you're a black sheep, you're weird, you're this, you're that, you're in the third. All this does is breed conformity, and conformity does not breed community, because there is no true community in conformity. Because if you are conforming to fit into a community, then that's not actually your community, and you're not actually a part of that community. You're shape shifting, you're shifting yourself to be a part of that community. You're putting yourself in a box to fit in a place where you don't actually belong. And society today, that is why there is no real sense of community most of the times, because people are constantly conforming and assimilating to society's rules, to society's thoughts, to society's answers, and to society's consequences. The fears of society become your fears as well. And that's why people who are detached do a lot better in life, because they don't really too much care about society. But anarchy. I am an anarchist, and I believe in complete and total anarchy. I don't believe that we should have governmental systems. I don't believe there should be people in positions of power. There should be no power. We should just be. There's a difference between having a leader and people in positions of power, right? People who are leaders, if you're a leader in your community, you're a leader in your tribe, it's like, it's not exclusive. Being a leader, and this is what's most important to realize also, that with anarchy comes a mass spiritual awakening. So if you're going to be an anarchist, and we're like going back to the ways of the old, and anarchy isn't even isolation. People, I feel like, misread anarchy as some type of isolationist, just like crazy ass civilization, like super dystopian and like post apocalyptic type of vibe when people hear the word anarchy. But anarchy is literally just a dissolution of all systems in societies. Anarchy is literally just a dissolution of everything that controls you. Because this is where people have to realize that is all that society does is control you. And that control doesn't, again, it's not a bad, a good, bad, whatever. That control could be harmful, or that control could be, you could say that it's not harmful. You could say it's positive. You could say it helped you, whatever. But at the end of the day, you're still being controlled. You still have no free will, no matter what you do. Okay? Most people don't actually act on their free will without, stepping into themselves and stepping into their brain and asking themselves, what is X, Y, and Z going to think of me when I do this? Or what is society going to think of me when I do this? Why do you care what society thinks? Why do you care what society thinks? Because society controls you, and you want to conform to society. You want to conform to that. And I mean, that's natural for us as human beings to want to conform and be accepted. But at the end of the day, the type of acceptance that we have these days is a fear-ridden acceptance, right? And that all stems from Christianity and colonization. So we also have to just take it all the way back, okay? When humans, first of all, what Christianity did to me, I'm not sure if there's any other, religions before Christianity that did this. Well, before Christianity, Catholicism, before that whole branch, all of that, right? Anything with God, Jesus, Mother Mary, Joseph, and the Holy Trinity and the Lamb, whatever, Holy Spirit, all that stuff. What it did was it shocked people into a state of fear. And it shocked people into a state of fear because you now had the book of Revelations and all this other stuff that says you're going to burn in hell. And what this did was, again, created fear because, again, we can all agree on two things: the desire to live and the desire to fear. The desire to live and fear of death, right? But now we're fearing after death. So that takes away presentness. So because we all fear death, right? Most people fear death. Most people don't want to die. Because they don't want to live you shouldn't want to die. Let me put it this way. You shouldn't want to die because you're leaving the things that you have here behind. That's why you shouldn't want to die. Most people don't want to die because they don't want to go to hell. Both of those aren't really good reasons to not want to die, but at the end of the day, you're still allowing yourself to be controlled. Every action that you take, and this is why I'm not a Christian, because every action that you take is controlled by that fear. No matter what you say, no matter how you put it, none of the stuff that you do is genuine, actually. Most Christians, most people who are religious, period, they act the way that they act. And if someone, woke up, if they woke up tomorrow and someone was just like, or God came to them and was like, there's no hell and there's no heaven, people would drop it. They would drop all of it. Most people would stop their praise. Most people would stop being devoted. Most people would stop doing this and stop doing that because they realized that, not that they're not going to reap a reward, but they realize that there is no consequence, there is no fear. So now I can live in free will. And this is what we have to understand as a people and as a community, period, and as a society in order for us to grow, is that it's the way he ain't respond. Sorry, my bad, y'all. But oh my gosh, the fly. Okay, but what we have to understand is free will is not an option. Free will is not a choice, okay? You have free will. You don't say, oh, I could have. No, you have free will. There is no hell. There is no heaven. When you die, you don't go to no magical last place and be there for all of eternity. That is entrapment. And when people wake up to the fact that they are literally being trapped by their own desires and their own design, this fly finna piss me off, y'all. Dead ass. Like, get the fuck. Oh my gosh. Okay, when people wake up to the fact that they are literally entrapped by their own design, you're entrapped by your own religious studies, you're entrapped by the very thing that you claim to like, worship and love so much, right? That is when the world would be a better place, okay? First of all, we also have to realize that Thomas Hobbes wrote this in a time where there were people, claiming to be divinely king, divinely crowned, the divine right of kings, whatever. Like he wrote this during a time where people were saying, God gave me this power, and you must respect me, and you must allow me to control you because God controls you. And so, since God controls you, I must also control you because I am a byproduct of God. But what people fail to understand is we are all a byproduct of God. It's not just one person being whatever. People don't understand that they do have power. And that's another thing that Christianity takes away from people. And that's another thing religion in general. And I'm not going to say just Christianity. Religion in general just takes people's free will away from them. And it also takes their ability to see their true power. When you cannot realize like your power and who you are and what you've come on this earth to really do, then you kind of stunt your own growth. You, like, I don't know, like, you stunt your own growth. Most people cut themselves off at the legs because they refuse to be open-minded and they refuse to exercise the fact that they can really do anything. We can really do anything. And this is why people hated Thomas Hobbes, because he proved that you can do anything. And you don't have to follow a set group of rules. I believe in, like I said, complete dissolution of the government. And in order for there to be complete dissolution of government, there first has to be complete dissolution of the idea that there is something, not something bigger than you, not something better than you, not something that is like, I don't know, plays a major role in your life, but it's like the complete dissolution of the idea that there's something that controls you. There's something that dictates, not even just dictates, but something that you should allow to dictate, right? Other than yourself. And people have made it out like, oh, like that's wrong. You shouldn't be selfish. You shouldn't do things to help yourself. But yeah, you should. Do the things that make you happy. Do what brings you peace. Because most of the time, let me just be honest, killing people don't bring nobody peace. Murder doesn't bring anybody peace. Theft doesn't bring anybody peace. Most things, most crimes that we have today wouldn't exist if we didn't exist in a community. It wouldn't exist if we didn't exist as a commonwealth, as Hobbes described it, but more so as a society, more so under a governmental system. If we didn't exist under that system, then we wouldn't have these problems. There wouldn't even be fucking criminals. People turn to and resort to a life of crime because they realize, why am I listening to you? I don't have to listen to you. And the more people who aren't religious, the more people who are on the immorally or like morally wrong side as according to the government or whoever, but just not really. Hello? Ooh, I'm finna go. Flies keep getting on me. This is like the 18th time a fucking fly done got on me. This time it was 2 flies. Like, I'm really just finna kill myself. But I'll finish recording this later, I guess. But I don't even know, like, I don't know. But this book is really good. So if I was you, I would get it. Like, people, even philosophers, like, they were just really, honestly, I've been saying this a lot past couple of days. I don't really even use this word, but they were stupid. They were dumb. They were very closed-minded, and everything they did was based off of theology because, again, like, everything was based off theology. But it's still just, like, why are you believing that? You know what I'm saying? And they condemned him because his version of humanity before civilization was not perfection. And that is the problem also that I didn't touch on, is that perfection does not exist. There is no such thing as a perfect world. And that's not like there's not going to be problems in a community, but this for the community to handle. People can solve their own problems. You don't need a savior. And that is the big issue with community as well, is that everybody for some reason believes like, oh, I need a savior. I need someone to save me. And that savior comes in the form of police officers, hospitals, convenience. But you don't actually need that. You don't actually need that. If people don't understand how easy most things actually are for you to do yourself, okay? If most people grew up in a community environment, y'all would have better behavior regulational skills. If most people grew up outside of the government and society, then we wouldn't even have so much violence and problems and issues. Because when you are community oriented, it teaches you the importance of caring about people and actually like loving people. You know what I'm saying? Actually caring about human life. And you care about it a lot more when you're not in a society, especially one like this, that disconnects you so bad from nature. And disconnects you not only just from nature, but from yourself, right? Most people are disconnected from their roots, just to put it truthfully. They're disconnected from their roots, their self, their mind, their own thoughts, ideas, judgments, and even opinions. People don't really know who they are because they're still looking for someone to tell them who they are because God tells them who they are. But you're never gonna know who you are if you don't find it for yourself first. And people are always waiting around for someone else to tell them who they are, always waiting around for something else to dictate their life because they have never known anything other than dictation. And that is what God is, a dictator. So, God as a structure, religion as a structure, it all is just a dictatorship. Someone telling you what to do, and if you don't do it, you're gonna die. That's like someone putting a gun to your fucking head and saying, hey, if you don't do this, I'm gonna blow your fucking brains out. Like, think about that. And then also, let's think about heaven. I know I said I'm finna go, but let's also think about heaven. Okay? Heaven, in its essence and everything of what heaven is literally entrapment. You're there eternally. You're dead and you're just in heaven forever with God. You don't have no passion. You don't have no lust for life. You don't have no ideas. You don't have anything to do, nowhere to go. Like, y'all would get bored. That's what y'all would do. Y'all would get bored in heaven. And I feel like just looking at heaven instead of looking at here, it allows y'all to not be present. And it also just allows people, again, because what he said in this book is that there's two kinds of two kinds of goods, or two reasons people do good. And he was basically talking about, two kind of effects or something like that. Basically, you got the long term and the short term effects of things. Okay, I'm gonna do this because it looks good right now, but it's probably gonna end up being bad later. Or I'm gonna do this. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Reason, right? So he's like, reason is the reason why people make good long term decisions, but pleasure, or you could say pleasure, you could say gratification, is the reason that people make short term good decisions, but that end up being bad. So I kind of lost my train of thought trying to think about that, and I kind of got off what I was thinking about. But pretty much. Pretty much, it allows you to not think long term in the things that you do. If people are going to heaven, they don't have to worry about climate change. If people are going to heaven, they don't have to worry about the effects of things that they do. If people are going to heaven, they don't have to worry about worldly things. And that's why a lot of people are like, you shouldn't be worldly, you shouldn't indulge. There's a difference between worldly things, secular things, whatever. There's a difference between worldly things and actually like harmful things, right? You should be worldly. You should be of the earth and of the world. You should be completely grounded in your own reality, right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with partaking and having a little fun, but there's a difference between partaking and indulging and having a little fun and overindulgence. And that's the importance of everything in moderation. And a lot of people don't understand that balance is the key to everything. As humans, we are here to live and experience, period, point blank. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're here to be here to learn something. Learn something. Like, you supposed to learn something when you here. And people's like, school, earth is a school, right? But I'm not going to say I necessarily believe that earth is a school as in like a literal sense. Life is the school, right? Like, earth is a school, life is a teacher. No, life is the school, right? You are the teacher. You are the teacher. Not nobody. You are the teacher of your own life, right? But you are also the student. You are teaching yourself while also learning yourself, right? It's complex, but everything is complex and everything is dual. And people who think that things are only one way, and people who think that things are only as far as they can see, they're ignorant. People who only believe in structures such as society and government and law are dumb, because what they don't understand is these are all made up. Everything is made up. And if I said that there is no government and nobody controls me, I would technically be right. So then I just made up something else. Because, boom, let me tell you this. Nobody controls me. Nobody tells me what to do. Ain't no puppets on my, my stream. I do illegal stuff and nothing happens to me. So I could say, bro, there really is no government. There really is nothing holding me back because there's people around here. The government isn't in your face every day. The police is in your face every day telling you what to do every single day. But you still don't have free will though. And you don't have free will because you choose to acknowledge this system as the ruling system. And if you choose to accept it, then it becomes fact. But I choose not to accept it, so I feel like more people should as well. Community is the only thing that bonds us all together. And I'm not talking fake community, I'm talking genuineness. Some people have never sat down with themselves for long enough to realize that the people that they're around don't like them and they don't like them either. And it's just because people are also taught to just kind of deal with the hand that they're given. It's the same thing as like don't question God, da 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 da. Like people are definitely just taught to deal with what they are given. People are taught to take everything that somebody gives them or something gives them and be grateful for it. You know what I'm saying? You should be grateful for the government because they do X, Y, and Z that they do, but they don't do nothing. Let's be for real. Let's be for real. Okay? If 100,000 people left right now, the United States of America went to some offload island or something like that, right? Go to the island and start a whole brand new fucking community. It would be probably 10 times better than our fucking government. And we could do all the same things. It's nothing to build your own irrigation systems, your own this, your own this, your own this. But the problem with people that they also don't understand is in this world you don't own anything and nothing is yours. And that is the problem. You don't have anything. Nothing that you say that is yours is not yours. Nothing is yours, first of all. But also, nothing is yours. You don't have the capability or the ability to own a single thing. You got to go buy it from somebody else. That toilet in your house, somebody else made that shit. Your house, somebody else built your house. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that. You don't have control over the smallest portions, the smallest parts of your life, such as your shelter. So my thing is, how do you not see how controlled you really are by society? A lot of people will never wake up to the fact that this is not the way they were supposed to be living. But they will continue to accept whatever bullshit they see on the news every day. They will continue to accept whatever shit. You know what I'm saying? People complain like, oh, I still got bills to pay. Are you fucking dumb? Like, y'all are it's just ignorance, period. You know, it's angering, but it's ignorance. There's nothing that I can do. And I can't necessarily be upset with people because it takes a lot to get out of that brainwashing because that's what it is. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you have bills, stop paying them. If everybody stopped paying their bills, then the company that is getting the money is going to go out of business. You know what I'm saying? Strike. Stop doing this shit. Stop living this way. If you don't want to live this way, stop. Literally, just stop. Drop it all and say fuck this shit and stop. Nobody's going to stop you. They can't do nothing to you. If a bunch of people just was like, I'm going to stop doing this shit, you will have a big effect. But that's what people do not realize is the government is for you. It's not for the government. They don't get to tell you what to do. You tell them what to do. We the motherfucking people, bitch. Not the other way. Not we the government. We the people. The government is made up of citizens, people. But what they have done is people in positions of power, which is why I say there should be no positions of power, because these positions of power have only emboldened people to go along with their stupidity. Okay? They enforce their perceptions onto others. They enforce their own ideas of right and wrong instead of what is collectively agreed upon as right and wrong. These leaders, they're not leaders. They're not leading anybody. That's why I don't call them leaders. They're people in positions of power because they're literally people. And they're doing what people do. Serving themselves. Serving their own self-interest. And doing things in fucked up ways. Just for themselves. They don't care about how other people feel about it. It's all about them. Right? And it's how you know we don't have no real leaders in this country or probably any other country, right? Because all of our leaders, we got 4 tiers of leaders, 5, 6 tiers of leaders, but there's nobody leading us nowhere. You know what I'm saying? People not doing what's best for the people at all. And you know we don't have no real community. Well, not even just real community, but like I said, no real leaders because these politicians, like it's just it be too much. But at the same time, you know we don't have any because we have first of all politicians, politics. They're doing things out of politics. Politics ain't nothing but a show. You know what I'm saying? Politics ain't nothing but a show. It's nothing but a grand stage. All the world's a stage, and that's all politics is. It's a bunch of fucking actors on fucking screen TV acting like they give a fuck about any of the shit that you give a fuck, but they don't care because they have their own power. These people have free will. They have the ability to do whatever they want to do because everybody say nobody is above the law. Yeah, they are. The ones who created are above it because best believe they're going to create something to where they are not included in it. They're not included in it. They're going to know it backwards, forwards, and sideways, while you only know it forwards. So it's like, you know, we don't have no leaders because our political system is divided heavily. They don't care about what other people care about. Again, they only care about power. They get up on their podiums. The politicians of today are not the politicians of yesterday. It's not the same. Nothing is the same anymore. People are selfish to a detriment. And it's selfishly, like, it's selfishness, but it's not selfishness out of love. It's selfishness out of hate and selfishness out of greed. People are greedy and hateful and baneful. They want what they want and they won't accept anything else. People will get up there and laugh in your faces. People are dying. They don't care because they are people. We see great leaders, amazing leaders, but they will never become politicians. They will never be successful. People will never actually see them for the great that they are because people choose to put on that blindfold and look at them as politicians, but they are not. A leader is someone who is called to the path. A politician is a snake. Period. Point blank. You know what I'm saying? Most community leaders are in the church. And most of them ain't really even leaders, you know what I'm saying? But they're in community spaces, communal spaces, small local community. Those are real leaders. That's how a leader is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a leader in every region, not a leader in every state. Because you can't determine what everybody wants in a state. It's supposed to be, leaders are supposed to live in the community, live with the community, and lead the community as the community sees fit. But they don't do that. Even representatives, they don't actually represent the community. And these are people who are elected. They're not chosen. And I'm not saying chosen is in chosen by God. I'm saying chosen is in by themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are not people who always knew they wanted to lead. These are not people who want to make big changes and big differences and all this other stuff. Because when they get into these positions of power, they decide to play it small so they can keep their power, instead of playing it big so that they can reconstruct that power. But shit, that's my little rant for today, y'all. Finna go in because this fly is really pissing me off. It's been pissing me off for a while, but yeah. Viva la revolution.